Welcome, everyone. This is Peggy Hall from thehealthyamerican.org. And I have a couple, a beautiful couple, a wonderful freedom-loving couple that is joining us today from Tempe, Arizona. This is Brad and Emily, and we are going to hear how they got connected with the Healthy American. And you are not going to want to miss this interview because this is the number one request I get from people. The question is, how do I connect with, well, the three main questions: how do I connect with other freedom fighters? Where do I find them in my area? Number two, where can I find a business that is not going to require me to suffocate myself? And number three, I want to find an employer that I can work for that isn't going to go for all this hogwash, as I call it. And I am so excited to introduce you to Brad and Emily because they have solutions for 1, 2, 3 right there. So welcome, friends.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having us, Peggy. That's awesome. Yeah, cool.
Well, it is so awesome, Brad. You reached out to me several months ago, and why don't you just take the story from here and say how you heard about the Healthy American and what our conversation was like and how we've come full circle.
Sure. Yeah. So really, like you said, we reached out to you. I can't remember.
December.
Yeah, December-ish, and I was just like, hey, we want to start a directory because just like everybody else, we don't want to go to a restaurant and have to put a face diaper on, right? Or one of these tinfoil masks, whatever you want to say. It's such a weird place to be in. At least that we were just like, I was like, this is a massive attack on our freedoms, right? And that's all it really was just an attack. This is about our freedoms and these little erosions of our freedoms, right? So I was just like, somebody has to do something. And I'd been following you like the whole year, right? Once they locked me down, or us down, right? Everyone down. I started really paying attention. I think a lot of people did. And I was seeking out other people who were like-minded, you know what I mean? And you just came up, and I don't know how, but it's been amazing. I think it was maybe March. It was super early on when this was going on. And you were one of the early voices that was saying something. A breath of fresh air for us, because that's I mean, it's not very common right now at all for anybody to want to speak the truth. And you can understand why everybody gets slandered. Anyway, yeah, so I reached out to you in December, and I already kind of built the initial prototype, and you were like, yeah, that's awesome. And you'd mentioned us at the Village. You were down in San Diego and did the Village, and you did this little talk. And from that, we got a couple hundred signups. They're just there in Southern California for the directory. And it was okay. So now we need to do something, actually. so then we went through a couple more renditions. And from the call that we had with you, you had mentioned that a job board was needed and also a social platform, you know what I mean, where like-minded individuals can connect. And so then that's when we were like, okay, well, let's do that too. And we went and we decided the Freedom People .org, and it's really because we want to be a community and kind of one of these beacons, if you will, or a hub, just so that everyone can stay connected and know that we're not alone. Because I know that it's hard, especially when they have us all separated and there's no one to talk to and things like that. It can feel very lonely, and so that's something that we wanted to provide for everyone. Again, with not just the directory, but also with the platform, so we can do jobs. Again, I mean, what are we going to do for freedom jobs? You know what I mean? It's a tough place to be in, but we're hoping to provide some tools. So yeah.
That is so great. And Emily, you're a brand new mom.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How was that like, going through a pregnancy with all this, I call it hogwash, all this hogwash we're going through?
Well, it solidified our beliefs, that's for sure. I went to originally my first OB for the confirmation and realized she was not aligned with our beliefs. So we found a midwife practice that we love. And unfortunately, she decided to come a little early. So we did have to enter the hospital for her birth. And that just further solidified our beliefs, because everywhere was just fear, and it was not about health. I was trying to explain to them that I wanted to go outside, but I couldn't breathe fresh air because of COVID. All these crazy rules. My blood pressure was rising because they would come in and check it so much more often, and I was like, you are the problem.
All these
we
people
made
coming
it
in with
out.
masks on all the time. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, it's the zombies. We call them the zombies.
Yeah, it'll increase your blood pressure for sure. Just prior to the show here, my sister and I made a quick trip over to TJ Maxx, where I've never really had a problem. But it's not that, it's around all of the other zombies. They're causing the anxiety. And to see little children, I don't know what's worst, as I say, worst is worse than worse. I don't
Yeah.
know what's worst, the people who are so stupid that they actually don't know they don't have to do this, or the people who know it's stupid, but they're doing it anyway. I have to go with the second category. I really have to go with the second category. So welcome, you guys. And I want to show the website in just a minute. So everybody who just hopped on, this is Brad and Emily. They are the creators of thefreedompeople.org. And you are going to love this. Here at the Healthy American, there's three main things. And whenever I get faced with a problem, I always ask myself, which of these three tools can I use more of? And number one is being connected. So do I know someone else who's already doing this that could help me? Or do I know somebody that I could run this idea by? Or do I know somebody that I should write to? Or I'm always thinking who, not the WHO, that's the last thing, but I'm thinking the connection. Who can I get support from? Who can I give support to? And if you're feeling worn down, and like you say, I love how you said that, Emily, this just solidified what you went through. Instead of saying, well, I guess we got to go along with everything. No, you're going to fight this even harder. So you find out your people. So what you guys are fulfilling, this number one requirement is, how do I connect with like-minded people? And then the second thing at the Healthy American is education. How can I learn about these laws that protect my rights? We know intrinsically, intuitively, without anybody ever having to put it on a piece of paper, you have the right to breathe. Just like you have the right to laugh, you have the right to sneeze and cough and think and dream and anything you want, that's your right. As long as it's not harming someone else. You have the right to stay up all night. You have the right to go to bed at 9 in the evening. You're not harming anyone. And these evildoers have tried to create the narrative that our breath harms people, and we have to stop that right off the bat. And that's where the education, and then I want to hear about your podcast, because that will be part of it. And then number three is taking action. Let's not just complain. People love to complain. I get it. I complain myself. The only thing I really complain about are complainers. And I understand the irony there, but we have to do something. And many people are frustrated when they do something and it's not the result. You can't worry about the result. I know it sounds weird, but you have to keep going. They want us to stop taking action when we get frustrated. So you guys are really fulfilling idea number one. Well, all of them, but definitely the connection. Tell me a little, Brad, about you say this is what you guys do. You build websites. When we chatted a few months ago, you're like, yeah, this is what I do. And I want to do this for freedom.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been in software or doing websites, I guess you could say, since probably 1998 or 1999. So I've been doing it a long time, right? Yeah. So I was in the military, and it was a hobby. Anywho, websites then turned into application development, things like that. So I'm an entrepreneur. We are entrepreneurs, and I started a software company a few years back. So we kind of do software here and there. We do software mainly, and then websites here and there, and WordPress websites, which you'll see that's kind of what everything's built on, right? So it's super flexible and doable for a single team of two.
Awesome.
So,
you guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we're kind of managing all three of those websites, plus our other stuff, and also the podcast, like we're going to talk about here pretty soon. But yeah, so it's all kind of pretty intense at the same time. Yeah, it's kind of maybe feels like this is what we were here to do.
I love it.
What I mean?
I love it, guys.
Like why are you here? What's your purpose and all these things, find the God inside and all that good stuff. But in this 3D, like what is your purpose? And it's just like, it all seemed to, I know 2020 was a a pretty intense year. Let's just say a pretty intense year. At the same time, it revealed all of these things, right? And all of these beliefs and core, I don't want to say beliefs, beliefs change, core values, right? These core values in people that it doesn't matter race, religion, any education, none of that matters at all. All that matters, are you standing for freedom or not?
That's right.
Right. And that's the core belief and core value that I really just am attracted to right now. And 2020 brought people like you into our life. And now, I mean, it's crazy. I feel like I have a massive purpose, even more so than I did before. You know what I mean? It's just like, it feels like a purpose, and we've created this like kind of thing. And it's amazing to see what's happening so quickly, and the response that we're getting and the support we're getting from all kinds of places is, it's humbling. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm just thrilled. And I want to hear from people in a comment below if you feel the same way, that your passion has come into focus. Isn't it neat, friends, that 2020 we use as that measurement for like perfect vision? And it was I would say in many ways it was the worst year, but it was the best year. I had so many hardships and losses and sacrifices, but on the other hand, I've met so many thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of healthy Americans that are the freedom lovers and freedom fighters, and nothing else does matter. I mean, you just brought a new life into this world. You probably have an even more vigorous, because it's like, you know, for some people, they're like, well, I'm just going to stay home, read a book, tend the garden, walk my dog. I'm not going to participate. You really have a reason to work and to make sure that it's a daughter, right?
Yeah.
That your daughter is going to live in freedom, and it is worth everything you're doing. And what I would like to do now is let's go to the website. So friends that are hopping on, Brad and Emily have created thefreedompeople.org. I'm going to share the screen and I'll just come onto it like I'm a new user. And this is going to be fun, friends. So here we go. Let me get rid of that, and let me get rid of that. And everybody can see I am at thefreedompeople.org. And I love it because it piggybacks a little bit on the Healthy American. And the name Freedom People really rings with me. And the other thing I didn't get a chance to tell you, Brad and Emily, but it's so unifying. I think in the last year, there was a lot of division in terms of, political activities. And, at the Healthy American, I stand for truth and I stand for freedom. And really, without truth, there's no freedom, because you don't even know what the truth is. And so, yes, there are candidates that are more aligned with that and others that aren't. But I've never been a political platform other than to urge people to, go to your local meetings and keep on your public servants and all of that. But I love that the Freedom People, to me, sounds, it is its own movement, its own unifying call. Has anybody told you that? It really rings true for me.
Well, we feel the same way. And 2020 has absolutely been unifying in that way. And that's kind of what we were getting at there. And it's no one's told us that yet. Again, we're just starting like this, and it's been a lot of work, obviously, because
oh my gosh,
3 different applications here, because they're all separate. So
okay, well, we'll take a tour. We'll take a tour here.
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
So friends, I'm already signed up, but you're going to want to enter your email address to get started, and tell us about that. Let me take you off share for a second. So tell us a little bit about that, friends. So people put in their email address. It's not a Facebook, right? It's not, this is a connection group. So.
Yep. So that email there, when you fill out that at thefreedompeople.org, when you fill that out, that's going to go to us. And of course, so totally secure and everything. We're not doing anything with your email except making sure that you stay connected with us. And then we're going to release any information about the directory, podcast, or the social platform that's going to be relative or pertinent to anything that you might want to know about.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, let's go back here. So you'll sign up there, everybody, and then that way you stay connected with them. And look at this beautiful, the Freedom People. And so tell us, why don't we just start left to right, and tell us about your podcast. I'm really thrilled to hear about that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Again, all this was born out of necessity. I was asleep personally. I was first awoke and from all of this, and awake, not woke.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Mistaken there. Yeah, awake but not woke. So yeah, in 1997 ish, 1998 is I was in the military then. I was in the Marines, and I had a rude awakening from the mainstream media, and I realized that we were being lied to. And you can imagine, like, your whole life, at least my 17, 18-year-old life, was very rooted in a belief system that I was there in the military to do all of these certain things that were kind of premised and based upon the stories of the media. I mean, where else do we get our information? I mean, from the newspapers and the news. I mean, where else? And especially back then, pre-internet, right? So there was no other way to really get information, right? And this is the days of encyclopedias. You remember encyclopedias, anybody? Okay, so when those were still like relevant kind of thing, right? So where else are you going to get this information, right? It's Time magazine, right? So it was very constricted. And so then I just had my boom. It was like my whole life kind of exploded. Anyway, then I spent many years trying to yell at people and tell people that they're being lied to. And anyway, at some point you just kind of get burnt out trying to, tell people, hey, on all this stuff. And because all it really did was just make conflict, right? Because you're telling, these are core belief systems in people, right? And again, these are belief systems, not values, but belief systems, core that you're 100%, this is real. You know what I mean? Yes, 100%. Your government would never lie to you. 100%. The news is telling you total truth. You know what I mean? But at some point, some of those start to break down for most of us. I don't want to say most of us, some of us, right? And then we break out of that. Anyway, so then that's what 2020 kind of woke me back out of my slumber. Again, the reason I went to sleep again, not so much asleep, I was just was tired of being in conflict. You know what I mean? I just wanted to hang out, drink some beers with friends, and you know what I mean? And not, and not be all the time. So you just kind of, okay, we'll just agree to disagree, and nothing seemed to be happening forever. And this is, we're talking a decade, right, of nothing happening. So I just always thought, well, nothing's just going to change much. And then 2020 hit. And so all of this just started going. And then I was like, well, now I got to get on the airwaves and just start to offset this garbage. It's just garbage. I don't even, this rhetoric about socialism or Marxism and all these things about how it's the way to go and how free is the way to go, and no responsibility. And I'm a big 100% self-responsibility kind of person. I don't want anybody's help from anything. I don't want that. It's no fun. This game of life is a challenge, and I want the challenge, right? But so don't try. And anyway, so I digress on that. But so that's kind of how this all came about, Peggy. And again, the podcast is just to help spread the information, to help spread what you're doing, to help educate, right? It's that
Awesome.
education platform where you were talking about the education and really just helping to get it out there. And yeah, so
that's so great. So that's here, everybody. You're going to be able to click through, and then do you have episodes already, or are those going to be coming in?
Those are coming soon. So our podcast,
Perfect.
The website's there. You can go kind of read. We have content on there, but we're actually, we're in this month. I think we'll have enough recorded. We're recording quite a bit episodes before we push live. So.
Great. Well, we'll have to do some together. I'm doing a podcast also. I think it's great.
Oh, it's so much fun. They're fun.
Yeah. So if you click through, friends, you'll see here's the podcast. Love it. Yeah, this is just fantastic. So I want everybody to hop on board here. It's so important to stay connected. And then let's go back to, I really want to point out what you wrote here, we the freedom people, because our country was founded with that phrase, we the people, we the people. And you added the word freedom, which is so profound, because they kind of left that word out in the beginning, right? They left that word out. And it's become like before we came on air, I was telling you that I was at this store, and it's, I never put anything on my face. I never have, I never will. And my sister and I are the only free breathers, the only oxygen breathers in the store. And it's like, wow, these are my fellow man. These are my fellow Americans. It's rather disappointing. So yes, we the people, but we the freedom people, we the ones that love freedom, and not just love it, but are willing to fight for it, as you did. I mean, you did in the service. So here is what I want to show everybody, the directory. So This is really exciting, friends. You're going to want to go to thefreedompeople.org, and then you click through off the launch pad. And here is where, and there, so tell us about this, friends. I think you're just building it out, right? More and more people are getting going here.
Yeah. So I think that we're still right around 200 active listings.
Okay.
And most of them are in California right now.
Okay.
And again, that's because of you speaking in California helped
Great.
kind of, and people were like, awesome, okay, a place to go. But again, it's just people just don't know much about it yet.
Well, we're going to get that going.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, again, this is in no way monetized by us, or we're none of it podcast. You know, this is all just kind of our contribution to the.
It's amazing. Well, I hope you'll have a donate button on there somewhere for people to donate.
Maybe someday. Yeah, maybe someday. We're thinking of like how to do that. And again, we just know that all these systems right now kind of have a clutch on everything. So it's like, even if you do try and take donations, or where are you going through, and then they just stop that at any time. And so we're trying to kind of take it slow.
That's your next project, you guys. That's your next project, is to build some kind of your own PayPal system or something, you know.
Well, that's funny enough. So Properly Crafted is our software company, and we're doing merchant services right now. Actually, we're kind of working on that that very thing.
Great. Let me know, because yeah, there's so many people that don't want to. There is the concern of they can pull the plug at any time, and then there's the concern of I don't want to do business with them anyway. So that'll be really thrilling. But I want to show everybody, this is the heart of the matter here, friends. So this is a special call to all businesses that you can add your listing here and you can get the exposure. And I've worked with hundreds, thousands of businesses to help them stay open and thrive. And every single one has told me that their business has increased in revenue, in new patrons, because they are, I'll just say, standing for freedom, and they're running their business as a freedom business. And this is an opportunity to be listed, to get that exposure. And then we, as the consumer, can go on and you can, again, there will be more and more businesses added, friends. So don't think this is all there is, but you can see there are some that are featured, and you can put in what category you're looking for. So let's say health and wellness, and let's say I'm looking for chiropractor. I'm just doing this. I don't even know if there's one.
There might be, yeah, and it's locale based, right? It's location based as well.
Oh, okay, so. Okay. So this one,
kind of like,
oh, here you go. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And I love this. And you can click through. I just want to do kind of a real life tour here. And here you go. Yeah. I love this. Yep. Wow, you guys, this is like the new, better, improved Yelp. Look at this, everybody. You've got the listing, you've got the map, you can write a review. And then this was written by the business. Is that how it works ideally?
Yep, correct.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
The business, when you go and sign up as a business owner, you go and you put all that info in, and
They can add photos, yeah.
This is just awesome.
Like you can see down there, it kind of gives you some like suggestions kind of close to it, and then you can see those ones have some images. So like Aloha Acupuncture, there they added some images. So yeah, it's come together, like I said, fairly smoothly.
Yeah, and we're always open to feedback. So
yeah, please, absolutely.
Tell us what they need.
Oh, this is just great. I love it. Okay, so there's a so people can add. And they can add more images if they want.
Yep.
Wow, I love this. So this is the part of the businesses, which a lot of people are asking me. I get so many people, Peggy, do you know a vet? And I will start sending you the ones that I know, because that would be the next step, everybody, is all of you. Let me just come off the stop share for a second so I can see people. So friends, all of you that have a business, that go to a business, if you know a restaurant, if you know a boutique, a nail salon, a hair salon, you saw the chiropractors, auto repair, dentist, I get a lot of requests for. Let your freedom people know, and the freedom businesses know they can, and this is free for the businesses also?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Wow,
it's
that's
for everyone.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's free
Mhm,
advertising. There's
mhm.
going to be an opportunity where you can even book services and appointments. I saw that there, which is
Yep, that's
incredible.
coming soon. Yep.
So
Yep.
what
So
we need, the call to action, friends, is everybody that's watching this video is to send the website, thefreedompeople.org, to the businesses, or better yet, ask the business, or yeah, let the businesses know that they can go there to sign up. And then you start using this and going to the businesses that are signed up. We want to let them know that we support them. Why in the world would you go to a dentist that makes you cover your face to walk 10 feet into the exam room where you're going to take the mask off? And trust me, I wouldn't want to go to a dentist that's thinking like that. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, it's like, why? They're like, Peggy, can you help me tell my dentist? Like, I think you need a different dentist. That,
Exactly.
Can't fix stupid, right? Yeah.
you know, so let's go back and let's look at the connecting the people. So this is really thrilling. So the social, and again, we, the freedom people, I can't tell you how
Yeah,
much I
we had
love
to be
that.
specific, right? I mean, it's a sad day then when we had to be specific about that, but we did. And we did. We had to be specific just because, like you said, there's so many people who are like kind of seems to be the antithesis of it.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
it's thrilling. We get to redefine it,
absolutely.
and why not? Why, we the people, we are redefining it. So,
Yes.
oh, I just love it. It's such a clean design. It's so engaging. And here you go. You join the Freedom People. It says you get a lively community to meet and mingle with other freedom loving people. You know what, friends? I didn't tell you, but I get a lot of people. I know this is not a dating site, but I get a lot of people asking me, like, where can I meet? You know, you're lucky you guys have a spouse that is of the same mind as do I. But many people will say, how can I find,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to date somebody that is not on the same page. So this is not dating, but it could, right? It's making friends. You never know.
Totally, yeah. I did create a group on there for that purpose, and then it can get even more specific by location. The more people on it, the better it will be, kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to hop on because I've already created an account, and
Awesome.
online shopping coming soon, job search. Yay! This is
Yeah.
thrilling. So I think I have the right password. Let's hop in. And that's the other thing I get people asking me is about the jobs. And here we go. So because we're just getting underway, friends, you'll see I have not really added anything to my profile, but I will. And I just love this. So you can find friends. Look at people are joining. Oh, I've already got some notifications. Talk to us a little bit about this, you guys. Where am I now?
So yeah, so this is your timeline. So as you log in, this is kind of like a Facebook meets I guess a job board group kind of
Okay, kind of like a meetup group. Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's we're again just trying to solve as many problems as we can in one solution here. So yeah, so what you'll be able to do is go in here and create your own group. So technically, you could go and just create your own job board right now. So you could go sign up and then create a job board and post things into a forum. We have forums on here, and
Look at
yeah.
this. I love it. Well, I'm going to make I'll make a healthy American group, right? I could do that.
Well, you should. So if you on the left-hand side, if you click groups over there,
Yeah.
go down. There you go. Click on groups. You should
Okay.
be able to add a group right here.
How fun. I love it.
So right there at the top, it said create group, but here's
Yep.
some groups that are already right. So job board, you can see there's a group for the job board. So that's what we were saying. We can use it as that. Also, we were thinking that, you know, depending on feedback, it would just kind of drive the community. And that's where we'd like to hear from
I love it.
our people. I don't like to call them users because there's only two industries in the world that call their users, and that's drug dealers and software people. And so I'm trying to call them people instead of users.
You know what, Brad? That's really important. I
We're not
think
drug dealers. Yeah.
distinctions like this, you know, you're tuned into that. Words are important. The
Mhm.
community is important. The relationship is key. And so, yeah, you're not a user. And then this,
It makes it faceless.
it does,
Yeah,
which is what
that
they
user,
want.
it's kind of like where they did with like in military stuff, they call them tangos or charlies, right? Or the enemy, right? It's again, it's a tango, it's a target. It's no longer a human. it's a target, right?
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
it's the same sort of thing. It's whenever you dehumanize, it tends to cause problems.
I just love it. Here you go, Emily. This is what you were talking about. Freedom People Singles. Look at how cute this logo is. I just love it. I love everything about it, friends. I'm going to go back here. Well, I'm going to start getting active on here. And, this is our actual official launch day, which is why I wanted to do the video. I want to tell everybody in the newsletter and just promote this. I'm going to have it, a link to it from the Healthy American. And this is just thrilling for me. So let's go. I want to show people again. So when you are at the landing pad here, you've got where you can listen to Brad and Emily and their guest. You've got the directory of the businesses, and you can add a business, and you can also search for a business, and let's get that growing. I mean, let's have a goal of by the end of this week, we've got 200 businesses on there. It's totally doable. And then the social connection, where you're going to be able to find people in your area. Anything you want to say, friends? I'm going to click off the screen share in a moment, but anything else you'd like to point out about how do people can navigate, or what your goals are here?
I don't think so. The directory, there is a frequently asked questions page under support. I believe also a Telegram group if you want to join. But yeah, it just goes through commonly asked questions or problems with screenshots and how to get a hold of us.
Okay, we'll find that.
Up at the top on
I'm
the
sorry,
menu
at the
part,
top. Okay, how it works.
support.
And support FAQs, and you have a Telegram group. Perfect.
Yeah,
great.
the Telegram group's got like 150 people in there or so, and it's active. Everybody's in there, posting all freedom stuff, and just being free speech and having a great time.
Love
and,
it.
Any support that you want to jump in there, people are really helping each other out at this point. And again, that's what we wanted to do. We don't want to own anything. We don't want to profit from anything. We want to create platforms for people to create on their own and just be able to, to build the community within the community.
Well, this is just fantastic. I love it. I just love everything about it. And I just love you guys, and I love what you're doing, because I'll tell you, I started doing this a year ago, and in the very beginning, that was the onslaught of questions, was just, how do I find somebody in my area that's doing what you're doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. But I'll keep a little list of if I hear of anybody else in North Carolina. And before you know it, I had like list of people from every state. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this now. Do I call them back, or can't just make a big email? That won't be very good. And it was our ongoing struggle. And so somebody said, well, why don't you use meetup groups? And our hardworking volunteers created a meetup group for every single county. There's like 3,158 counties roughly in the United States. And we thought, well, that'll be great. I know, can you believe it? But you know what happened? Number one, big tech, it was censored. All right. So even though, and I had to pay $35 for every group. It was a lot of money. We combined a couple of them. But anyway, we're paying to be censored. And then the worst of it was some people couldn't get on for whatever reason. And then they would run ads in our private group advertising things that we were not in favor of. And I think they targeted that on purpose. So if you wanted to look for, let's just say Austin, Texas. All right. There's a meetup group in Austin, Texas. And you do this, and you know how you guys have related search that comes up? Mm-hmm. Well, it would have the meetup group, the Healthy American meetup group. And then next to it would be some type of event for, how to hand sanitize, something that was completely opposite to what we were doing.
Right.
And they said, Peggy, why are you running these ads? I'm like, I'm not running any ad. So they censored, and then they started kicking people off, and it was just a nightmare. And then I would say the other issue, and I just want to tell everybody about how these groups work. The idea for social connection, our idea was find somebody and then go meet them, actually go face to face, because you're trying to meet them in your area. I get that, like Telegram is everybody from around the country. You can't go meet somebody in Tennessee, but the purpose of the meetup groups was go have a cup of coffee with them, go find an event or a church or a rally that you want to go to with this new friend. But they wanted to just use it as another Facebook. And it's like, we don't have the manpower to, manage and administer all, the entire country. So we pulled the plug on it. And that's right when you guys came through and you said, we can do this. And I'm like, this is a dream come true. So I am thrilled. I'm going to be promoting this night and day because it's one of the most frequent questions I get. As I say, who do you know in my area? Where's a business I can go to? And I want to find a job without these restrictions. And you guys just hit a home run, 1, 2, 3, knocked it out of the park. And
thank you.
so we'll be promoting it. I want to be on your podcast. I want you to be on my podcast. Yes. I'm going to be airing this far and wide, and I'm still hanging on by a thread at YouTube, definitely on BitChute, and all the other social media, and then of course the private peggyhall.tv. So anybody that's viewing now that's not on peggyhall.tv, that is where the uncensored information is going to be. It's like, I feel the world is shrinking in terms of our voice. So I do have a question for you guys. Talk to me about WordPress that you built this on, and is that going to be bulletproof and censor free? Because I think, a lot of the platforms that people have been using are just being strangled now. Talk to me about.
So we're not actually. Yeah, so it's not hosted on WordPress. It's just using WordPress open source code. But yeah, it's hosted on a platform that is not one of the big guys. Let's just say that.
Good, good, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, well, we're again trying to take all the steps that we can. It's hard to know who is and who isn't. But there's places offshore and things like that we can leverage if need be. But we have hourly backups. We're taking in, we have all the cybersecurity in place as much as we can. I mean, you can only mitigate what you can mitigate, right?
Yeah, but no, I'm really happy to hear that. That's fantastic. I know the larger platforms, because once they muffle our voices, which is what they're doing, right? They're literally muffling the voice and then trying to eradicate it altogether. And you know what? We're going to be using pen and paper. I said, I'm going to be chiseling into the stone rock, from like the old.
To be smoke signals from here.
Signals, exactly. Because you're right. There's always another way, and nothing is going to extinguish these, the flames of freedom. It can't. No. If anything, they're fanning the flames of freedom. Every time they take a step, we push back harder. And this is just going to be a game changer for everybody, friends. So as we wrap up in the next few minutes or so, anything else you'd like to share, add, just chat about?
No, I mean, well, we can talk about anything forever. So I mean, that's why we got a podcast too, right? It was more of an opt-in for my friends and family, so they could turn me on and turn me off if they wanted to, right? Another purpose of the podcast.
That's such a great idea, and people can have that information and resources. And why don't we finish out by talking about how things are in Arizona? So I will also tell you that we have state laws available. And again, anyone who hasn't gotten your state laws, we do have those on the website, and we've researched every single state. You've got the laws that protect you. Well, we also included the federal laws. We've got all of your state laws related to your own ADA and other civil rights protections. Further, we researched the laws that have to do with the trespassing laws, the illegal restraint, the harassment. There are several states that have a law against covering your face, especially when you are in commission of a crime. So I have to tell you that, and I've got it right here, the top states are that people request the laws from. Number 1, California. Any guesses on state number 2?
Arizona?
It is, let me tell you.
New York?
Yeah. I was surprised, you guys, and it might have something to do with population, but I do believe it's with the strictness of the measures. Number 1 was California. Number 2, Texas. Number 3, Arizona.
Really?
I'm astonished. And then, so the top 10 are basically California, Texas, Arizona, Florida. Everybody thinks Florida is open. No, it's not. Washington, Oregon. I'm not surprised. New York, Ohio,
Hmm.
and then North Carolina.
Hmm.
I cannot tell you how many people have contacted me from North Carolina. Maybe because that state is full of freedom people, but the government is really restrictive. I was astonished to find that how shut down it is in North Carolina. So I want to hear how are things going in Arizona?
Well, the governor just like lifted the mask mandates, right? Which he had no power to put in place in the. So again, we can really get into freedoms and like ignoring these people who are just clowns in clown suits. Anyway, that's besides the point. He lifted that. However, the damage is done, Peggy. We're gonna have people that wear masks forever. Like, I mean, this is like something fear is a very effective weapon, and it's been weaponized against the American people to such a degree that it's crazy. Like a year and a half ago, you would have never even thought about like confronting. And people are so confrontational who would never have been confrontational about this mask, right? And it's again so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a few weeks ago, we had a friend that had to go to 3 different grocery stores until he could buy his groceries without covering his face.
And it ended up being Trader Joe's.
Yeah, Trader Joe's.
Which he had to, the yellow star cart, which we had to do the other day, and I still got kicked out, right? And so because there only could be one of us, and I was like, oh, let's go, because he lifted the mandate, right? I was like, oh, let's go grocery shopping, right? And again, it's all for show, and I think it's just this political show and this media show that they just keep us interested in some sort of story that it's never going to change, and it doesn't matter. It's just kind of a story. You know what I mean? We all seem to be eating on that. And that's why we're action taker people. I love to complain too, like you, mostly about the complainers. So in the background of complaining, we take action. And that's why we did this, right? It's like, we just needed something to say, okay, well, if you're going to do that, that's fine. You do that. We are going to focus on what we want, not what we don't want. Right. And you got to know your enemy. And I don't even want to say enemy, but know the opposition, know what's happening over here, so that it gives you fuel. And that's, again, the birth of my child, like, was crazy. My first child, and we're in there and all these mass zombies and stuff. So
yeah, that's our only request now, is a hospital.
We want to create our own hospital where, again, and we can leverage modern technology with medicine that actually works, right? And again, I'm homeopathic. I was raised all natural and stuff like that. But again, I've used modern technology. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've been in the emergency room a lot, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But I never took their drugs afterwards and just started saying, okay, well, now I'm just going to go get on, whatever 15 prescriptions. Like, I know so many people that are on, it's just so yeah.
Well, that's so interesting, you guys. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that's, I think, another part of the website, or another website will be, Freedom Living, the Freedom Living Society or something, but you're building it right now. You're building it, and people will be able to find these areas. And yeah, we need medical care. I already did the freedom learning for the schools, because you don't need to be in a school. It's even before any of this, I was not in favor of it. It stunts the learning, and there's so much more growth that can happen in a natural, organic manner, where the children, we're learning right now. And we're not in school. So I wholeheartedly reject the notion that you're learning between 8 and 2 in a classroom. I just never, even as a teacher my entire life, I never agreed with any of that. But anyway, we're creating those. And of course, the transportation. I have people, and I want them to sign up. So again, healthy Americans that are listening, we're going to be the Healthy American Freedom People, because it really is an important coalition. And people are starting their own ride share services. Forget the Lyft and the Uber. And you know what? The people that are saying to me, Peggy, I lost my job. I'm like, you have your whole life ahead of you now. You can be a teacher. You don't need any of these licenses or anything. You don't
Yeah.
even need to call yourself a teacher. But you're the one now that's going to take the kids to the beach and the park, and you don't even need a classroom. You're just going to teach them outside. How many
Yes.
parents want that right now, right? You can be the rideshare person. You have a car. If you don't, borrow a car. You can start doing that, and your organization, your connection group. I want to see 100 rideshare services sign up this week in different
Yeah,
cities. Just start it. Anybody that's out of a job,
absolutely.
and the other thing is you don't need the app. We'll have to, you just put your phone number or whatever, they'll figure it out. That's the other thing. Let people figure it out on their own,
Yeah.
right? Let
Yeah.
them figure out how they're going to
Be
do it.
creative.
Be creative. And I love that about you guys. And I want everyone, it comes out loud and clear. You're probably the most positive people I've ever met. I know I'm naturally cheerful and positive and optimistic, but I tell you, it comes through so loud and clear. And friends, that is what the opposition wants. They want us to spiral into the despair of the
Mm,
sky is falling. Don't go there. I'm never going to do this. I'm going to do a class on how to say no to the needle,
right.
because people are gripped by this fear of the future, and that is part of the story, as you so clearly
Absolutely.
stated
That's what it
that.
feeds on and it keeps it going. And that's where for us, and again, the saying, they tried to bury us, but little did they know we were seeds, right? To me,
Love it.
that's what all they're doing. All they've done is given us more fuel, more tackling fuel or more jet fuel, more fuel to continue our mission, right? Because that's what this is. This is freedom of and it's go time. Like we said, this is World War III. People really don't, and I mean, the more and more this goes on, and it's wow, just wow. I'm again, and I'm honored to be in the fight with you and all the other freedom fighters. And if you haven't checked out Peggy's stuff, we've been taking her classes and buying her stuff for friends and family all around the country. So definitely check them out. And we're also, yeah, we're annual subscribers to Peggy Hall TV.
Oh, thank you guys.
Of course. I mean, we love your stuff, and again, it's
uh,
so informative and
I really do
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah,
appreciate
we
that.
call it boycotting instead of boycotting. So we'd rather support people
Brilliant.
that we like.
Boycotting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's actually, we have a group on there, I think, right, or something. Anyway, what we're trying to do is start a something maybe once every 2 weeks, and it's kind of like a flash mob, but we call them a grub mob, where everybody goes and you pick one business a week, and everybody go and show up and show so much support for that business and love for that business, and then we can start kind of picking those out. And we're gonna, and again, these are just community ideas that we have that anybody can start these. And again, you have now a platform. Anybody who out there is like, oh, I want to start my own local group, right? Because it's unmanageable, Peggy, for a central source to do it, right? And that's why we got to be decentralized. And this is all about freedom. Freedom is taking things into your own hands and just doing it.
I love that, Brad. One of the most, I know I keep saying one of the most, but it is a very common thing that people say. Everybody has to be united. All of the freedom fighter groups, one unified front. That's the only way we're going to get through. And I understand where that comes from. I really do,
Sure.
because the idea is that we're going to be larger than them, whoever they are, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but the issue for me, so I hear that and I validate it and I value what they're saying. And in certain cases, that is true. But where I want to draw the line is I don't want to minimize, I want to maximize and amplify the value of the individual. Here is
Mhm.
you and, Brad and Emily, two people that, now granted, you have the skills and talents and all, and everybody has the skills and talents in different areas. So
Yes.
I don't have the technology. I have to pay for the tech, but that's fine. But I want to make sure that everyone values their own individual action. And
Mhm.
yes, you want to be connected and supported and know that you're not alone and that you've got people that you can stand by side to side and rely on. You need the lift, you need, somebody to drive you somewhere. Maybe somebody can pick up the I have people saying, Peggy, I'm at the farmer's market. You want me to pick up the coconut milk? It's like beautiful. That's true community. But
Mhm.
the the opposition, the oppressors, the tyrants want us to believe that we can't be effective if it's just individual groups doing their own strategies and techniques. Now, in the armed forces, there are many branches of the military. You've
Mhm.
got the Navy specializes in naval operations, and you've got the Air Force specializes in air,
Right,
operations,
absolutely.
and the Marines do something else. So even though it's one armed forces, there are different branches of the military. So that's how I see the freedom fighters. We're all different ships in the same flotilla, and
Yeah.
I don't think we all need to abandon our ships and go on the Titanic, because we'll just let that stand for
No,
the
that's just
message.
another centralized thing that can be, what we're teaching here is decentralization and self-responsibility and think for yourself, right? We don't need more repeaters. So the more and more, and again, that's you're 100% on. And each branch of the military also has many different sanctions of that too, right? So
Oh,
you have your main branches, but then you got like your Army Rangers, and you've got, your air command, this, and tankers, you got everything, right? So there's so much, but again, I think our strength is what you just said, is the decentralization and everybody having a platform and creating freedom with their own lives and in their own heart. And from here, inside out, everything comes from the inside out. And so your freedom will bring and change the little group around you, and then that will change the bigger group in the community. And that's how we're going to do it, individually, as a collective though, right?
yes,
And that's the
yes.
thing, and that's where we want to create communities, and they're coming up all over the place. Again, this didn't exist a year ago or 6 months ago, you know what I mean? So
Oh, I'm just getting chills, you guys. This is one of my most important interviews ever. I live in a community, a condominium area, and there's about 300 homes, give or take. It's
sure.
like we can't even come together on the parking regulations, right? 300 people can't even agree. And we all live in the same community. We
Yeah.
can't even agree on what the landscaping should look like. So how in the world are you going to have 3,000, 300,000, 3,000,000, 30,000,000, 300,000,000? It's
Yeah.
not possible. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be the communities coming up organically, naturally, yes, with some, encouragement and
Sure.
some direction and some ideas and cross pollination, to use your idea of the seeds planting. And to me, that is the most beautiful thing that comes out of this. We get to recreate the way we want it.
Mhm.
Healthcare, you mentioned, Emily. I mean, yeah, that is just, it has overgrown. It's the overgrown weeds, and we really need to prune that. And I'm happy to see that many doctors are, um, I don't know about many, but in the alternative medicine realm, like the chiropractors, the acupuncturists, and all of that, acupuncturists. My mom was an emergency room nurse, and so I know all about medicine and all of that from
Yeah.
her viewpoint. And it's the same thing, Brad. She never liked medicine. She would patch the people up, fix the broken bones, give them the first aid and the emergency care. But she
Right.
was not a person at all she did not like going to doctors. She did not believe in medication as a way of managing,
Healthcare, sick
yeah,
care, as we
exactly.
care
So I
system.
have a real jaded view of that anyway, even before all of this came on.
Oh,
So
amen.
I'm
Yeah.
thrilled, because I think the chiropractic care, the alternative doctors, alternative practitioners, it shouldn't even be called alternative.
No.
They're the real natural ones,
Yeah,
right?
it's like people calling us anti-maskers. No, sorry, we're pro-face. I don't know, you're anti-face, dude. I don't know. Like, we're not anti. I don't even know. It's just such a
No,
weird.
we're the normal ones.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
came on the scene to change something.
right.
So you're the ones that should have the little cart going into
We were
Trader
here
Joe's.
first. Yeah.
Exactly. How
And if
about
you're
one?
that scared, stay home, right? If
Exactly.
you're that freaked out, you're gonna seriously mask you and your child. Stay home. Oh, come on.
They're the ones that should have the little cart, one mask at a time in the store, and the rest of us just leave us
Yeah,
alone,
and they could stand 6 or 12 or 18 feet apart. I don't care.
Exactly.
Whatever they want. Yeah.
But you know what, friends, I do think you said it at the very beginning, Brad, that the masks will be here. Look at Japan. I did some research into Japan, and my sister's been there a couple of times over the years, and she said they just wear them. Some people wear them, they just do. And that started 100 years ago in that 1918, which we know also bears digging, right? That whole Spanish flu thing. Who
All of it.
knows? Yeah,
All of
all of it. Dig deeper on that. But that was 100 years later. That's why they're still doing it. But you know what? They do it of their own volition. Nobody made them do it. And
Mhm.
I actually had a couple of students in the past that were wearing masks, and I thought, oh, they probably have a cold and they don't want to cough on anybody. I wasn't bothered by that. It was their choice. They didn't make me put
Right.
on one because they were coughing. So you know
Right.
what? I think it'll evolve to that. Give it some time, you know. But like
Right.
the brainwashing is complete.
Yeah.
People don't want to think for themselves, but we're going to change that. And I want everybody to go to thefreedompeople.org and stick on with me, friends. We're going to be closing out the live stream, but hang on with me a little bit. So
Yeah, for sure.
everybody, Brad and Emily from Tempe, Arizona, with the biggest hearts, the most skilled with technology and building apps and websites. You're going to love this experience. It's going to blow all those other social media platforms out of the water. This is going to be uncensored, unfettered, a place where you truly can be free. You're going to find businesses that are freedom loving. You're going to find people in your area that you can meet with face to beautiful face. And they're building out an opportunity for singles to meet each other, which is very needed. And then also the job directory. And this is all now, we're launching it to, well, we did kind of the soft launch. I'm announcing this at least through the Healthy American, and can't wait to have you on board, everybody. So thefreedompeople.org and of course thehealthyamerican.org. Okay, thanks
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank you, Peggy.